Good to see you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglash for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Okay, today hey Scott, I was going to work on USPS, so let's start with a commercial and I'll tell you what I'm thinking. It's mostly music.
This is a story about mail and packages.
It stopped on me. What happened?
And it's also a story about people. People who rely on us every day to deliver their dreams. They're handing us more than mail. They're handing us their business. And while we make more e-commerce deliveries to homes than anyone else in the country, we never forget that your business is our business. The United States Postal Service. Priority, you.
And I'm not sure that's true. I had a couple of talks with printers yesterday, and so I want to dig into this a little further, but I went too deep and have too much, and so I'm going to give it another day or two. But if I invited the CMO of the USPS to join us, and I don't expect her to be on the live stream. If you're on the live stream, say hello. If you're watching later, you can still make a comment. But one of the printers shared with me how their bulk mail person, they're at a medium to small post office that has one person that's dedicated to that, but they also run the counter, and so often somebody's buying a passport or buying stamps, and there's a line, and they just wait in line, even though they have a group of postal related printers, postal related printers who do about $5 million in postage a year. And you need to prioritize. If your priority is me and my business, then let's get a little more clear about where the revenue's coming for the post office, and let's make this process a little more sensible. And the story got much worse than that, but I'm not going to go into all of that. I was going to talk about informed delivery today because I personally think that it may actually be undermining the main distinctive of mail. And so that we're going to follow up on that. But, I actually went into my own dashboard today and found someone using informed delivery the way the Postal Service intended. I'd never seen it before. Didn't work for me because I don't have an account on that on the company that gave a link to my account, which was actually pretty cool. Now, and I believe that on my mail they have a personal URL QR code that can take me to my account as well. But I'll confirm that, and we'll see. So, there's some companies, and that's a Wisconsin company, incidentally. There are some companies that are with it. But if you have any thoughts on informed delivery, whether your personal use or the USPS's use, but I have noticed, because iSpot TV allows you to search by brand, and so I searched on USPS and found that they're not promoting the informed delivery. At least their TV commercials have shifted from, that was like everything in 2017. And I've been looking for more up-to-date figures on how many have signed up. I did at NMOA go around talking to some brands and mailers on their thoughts, and we'll touch on that as well. But let's move on to some of the news. Some really interesting news today, as usual. This is a company called Arise Virtual Solutions, and I know if you're a mailer, a lot of you have telecenters, and what's cool is that this software, which is getting very, very popular, allows companies like Airbnb, Disney, Comcast, AT&T, Amazon, Walgreens, and dozens of other big companies to turn over their customer service work to Arise Virtual Solutions. And it says when you call customer service, you probably imagine you're talking to an employee sitting at a giant call center. Actually, what's interesting is you might hear a dog barking now, but you won't hear the commotion that used to be in the call center. And I just called a phone support guy yesterday, or the day before, and a couple times over the weekend to help me set up this podcast. And the call was perfect. I don't know if they're using Arise. I'll call back and ask them. But the point is that this is a way for people maybe who can't get out or choose not to get out to have some employment. Now, that's the good news. And I've been in the NMOA CEO breakfasts for years now. And the number one issue they have is a lot of catalog companies are out in the country because the owner liked living out in the country, and you can run a mail order business out in the country or a digital business, an e-commerce only. And the people are nice, but it's hard to get cutting edge marketing people to go move to, where is Newski's anyway? It's up in the central middle of, I think the closest big city is Wausau. It's kind of north of a line between Wausau and Green Bay. But really, it's you have to love deer hunting or something to go out there. And but a lot of other companies are in the same situation. And I actually have discussed this with like Dana from Plow and Hearth, the president. I said, do you use this sort of technology? And they said they were exploring it. Now the problem with Arise, as now we go down, it's way cheaper than hiring your own employees, but Arise contractors don't get to schedule their own time, which I understand from a staffing standpoint, are required to work a minimum of 20 hours a week, also I understand. With charges and fees factored in, many also earn below minimum wage with no overtime eligibility. So it's not perfect. And I would say there's room in the marketplace for system providers that allow a company like Land's End. Figgy's data center, Figgy's Cheese, Wisconsin cheese company, back in the 80s and before, was in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. And they would hire the farm wives because the harvest was over and, the holidays were coming, and it was a way to make some extra income. And they had a huge influx of orders during the holiday period. But they would have to come to the call center. But it was kind of a similar idea of just getting locals, and I know Land's End has done that as well, and they use college kids from UW-Madison. Here's a funny story that goes along with the fraud problem. So you post a new song on Spotify, and only your mother and your siblings listen to it. But for a small fee, you can put up a track and boost your track to thousands of artificial streams. And apparently on Spotify, and I don't have Spotify, you get paid if your playlist gets adopted by lots and lots of people. So in comes the spammers and the scammers, and they curate playlists of client songs. Many music artists use these. Many music companies apparently use these. And two of the most, in 2018, Spotify discovered that a Bulgarian scammer was behind two of its most popular playlists with soulful music and music from the heart, and it had a whopping 467 songs on it, and mostly were bots. So the scammer made off with an estimated $1 million. Now, this may be true, I don't know, but I was on a YouTube channel that I like, a homesteader guy, and he's trying to hit 100 million views, and he said, just, go to my playlist and click random and turn off your sound and let it play day after day after day. He's actually enlisting, I shouldn't probably inform on him, but he's kind of enlisting all his followers to just become bot farms, and I thought, yeah, I could do that. And I did it for a while, and I thought, this is a picture of digital advertising. You're paying to be on YouTube, and who knows how many, he's not doing it. He's not telling you to do it. He's just saying, and I notice on my YouTube, some mornings I'll come down to my computer and it'll be playing something. I left the autoplay on, and it assumes that I like the first thing, and then it goes to the second, and then the third, and then it serves up more and more and more. And YouTube's doing it themselves. I didn't pick any of those things. It's just picking them. The digital world, it's hard to tell what's going on out there because they're doing it themselves. So the Democrats, now this was interesting. I highlighted Democrats have recommended breaking up Facebook, Amazon, Alphabet, Apple, because they have a monopoly of power. I thought it was interesting the Democrats were doing it. And because the Republicans are campaigning to change the Rule 230 that says that that websites are not, they're not a media outlet where there's fairness doctrines that apply, and they're not a publisher where they could get sued for liability. They're put in a special privileged category, but now they are kicking people off on the left and the right, and they are, blocking content. They're shadow banning. We all know it. They're doing it all over the place. So they're becoming editors of their content, and yet they don't take any responsibility for the things they don't edit. And they don't take any responsibility for defamation because they're protected. So the Republicans are mad about that, it seems, and the Democrats are rightly pointing out that these companies are monopolies. And they pointed to Google and a number of acquisitions, because Google didn't start out as a mapping company, and they bought about 5 companies in succession after their IPO with tons of money that they had, and or maybe 6 or 7 companies, and basically glued together a huge monopoly in mapping. So, something to think about. Harry and David find success with cookieless targeting. This was a really exciting article, I thought. There's a company called Brightpool, and they partnered with Harry and David, which is a subsidiary of 1-800-Flowers. And their goal was to find Harry and David previous customers that were on the web and maybe serve ads to them or get in contact with them. And I don't know if they went all the way to getting their physical address, or they said, well, we have their physical address. Let's see if we can also advertise to them on the web. There's a number of ways you can do that. But it turned out that this company's been around since 2019, and they said their main pitch hasn't been that cookies are going away, although cookies now seem to be going away. Safari users, Safari blocks third-party cookies, but 34% of web ads were served to Safari users, and Google's blocking them. And I'm guessing Chrome got a balance of the rest of them, and Firefox. So, but they said that cookies were wildly inefficient. Without this targeting system, Perkins said, if you were Harry and David and wanted to reach 1,000 of your customers on the open web using cookies, you'd be lucky to find 175. Okay, so this is like 10 times more effective than third-party cookies, according to Brightpool. I'm not fact-checking this. I don't have, this is according to the beginning of the article. This is the first time they've actually really tested it. So something to look into for retargeting and remarketing. And we talked about that the other day, so if you know the difference. But basically, getting back in contact at a very low price. There's a value in low-priced remarketing besides just email, pounding them to death with email. And maybe they didn't give you an email. Okay, so there's a value in low cost. Low cost is really the key, because your differential, your break-even analysis will say, okay, if we have a low cost, then it's worth a shot. And so you should use high engagement mail for the previously high value customers, but the low value, 60% of your file or something only bought once. What do you do with those? Well, that's what we specialize in. We specialize in figuring out which of the of the low value haven't bought lately, didn't spend much, and didn't buy a lot, didn't buy often. What do you do with those? Well, there's ways to do the machine learning and apply it to find the high value ones to mail. We make that decision, but we could also extend that, and we do, into email. Which are the ones that should be emailed only? Which are the ones should be postcard only? That's what we do for our clients. And now we have this extra tool. So I'm going to look into it. It sounds really, really interesting and powerful. Okay, now this is a great article that I want to end with, guiding you to profitability post COVID-19. And this was in an article called PI World, in a website which is I believe owned by Target Marketing, although now Target Marketing got bought by Adweek, so I don't know who's who anymore. But apparently it was from a while ago, because it only has May statistics on U.S. retail sales, and it said that the labor statistics unemployment rate is 13%, but now as of October 2nd, the unemployment rate has fallen to 7.9, way better than anybody imagined was possible. So this is somewhat dated, but the prescriptions are good, and it said back then that optimism was rising, and raw materials were going up a little bit. But there was a couple of pieces I really wanted to touch on. One is that innovations in print technology will open up new opportunities. I believe that with all my heart. Okay, that's part of what WDMA is about. We're going to get to. We'll take you over to the site today. We're going to try and do that anyway. We hope so. And so innovation is key. People don't understand the capabilities of print technology. Okay, and it allows you to charge more money, right? And customer education is essential, an essential business differentiator, as customers look for salespeople who offer them insights they can't find on their own. And that brings us to this graph, which I actually blew up so you could see it a little better. Okay, key attributes for selecting print providers. This is what I want really to focus on. Provides unique ideas to enhance the print we purchase. Now this is for printers, print buyers, and mailers, okay? And 55% say they think it's highly important to get ideas from their printers. I learned more from John Martin. If anybody knows where John Martin used to sell for Web, and I learned so much from him. He just was always making suggestions on how we could make the mail more efficient, how we could cut some costs. One time he came to me and said, could I trim a 16th inch off the height? Would that bother you? I said, well, what does it mean? He said, we can save you about 20%. I actually referred Quill to John, and they did 40 million pieces a year. And Jack Miller, the president of Quill, called me up and said, how come Web is so much less expensive? I said, because they'll help you fit your job to their presses in the most efficient way. And you're business to business. You don't care about exact color. You don't care about a lot of the things that a consumer cataloger would care about. I actually taught Web some of that, because we had an imprinted merchandise catalog. I was doing about 6 million catalogs a year. And they said, it really helps us to know that you're not going to have a person on site fiddling with the presses every time we run a job. I said, nope, that's not what we do. We want pleasing color. We want it to look normal, okay. We don't care if it matches exactly the photograph. Okay, so 55% plus 39%. That's 94% say it's highly important or moderately important that printers provide ideas. Secondly, proactivate and educate on new technologies and special effects. Okay, that one's 51 plus 42, 93%. Almost the same when you get over here. This one educates on new finishing methods. 93%, the same. But this one I thought was especially interesting. Holds educational events to educate us on ways to enhance our print. Where are you going to get that? What association is doing daily education in print? Only one that I know, WDMA.org. Let's go over there and I'll share some more stuff. But anyway, they said, being operationally efficient, already did the Web story. Finding creative ways to recruit staff. Staff training, okay? So I'm working with 2 or 3 print companies now. Maybe it's up to 4. And we're talking about, hey, Matthew, nice to see you. I want to talk to you maybe after this is over. Because, maybe get you on here. That would be great, Matthew. Nice to see you. Matthew helps print companies in the UK. So I hope we can work together and compare notes. And I'm so excited. Matthew, it's great to see you on here. That's so great. I'm all... Anyway, I've got 5 printers now that want explicitly to work with WDMA about educating their sales staff what to say to millennials, what to say to the digital marketing world that they haven't heard before. And we talked about that just yesterday, about what to say. How can mail compete with digital when it's so cheap? It's so easy. It's all about engagement, machine learning. Those two things. I explained that in my webinar. So let's go over to WDMA just for a second, and I'll show you my new cool feature. Okay? I personally love podcasts. I love 2-hour podcasts. Okay? Because I'm not going to sit on LinkedIn and watch every video that goes by. Look at this. I moved it. So the very first thing you see in posts is the podcasts. This is my latest podcast, Direct Mail Missing Piece. This is exactly about what to say to millennials. What to say to the I hate to say it this way, but the kid with an MBA who has never heard not taken one course in mail, not heard one lecture, probably has never heard anybody come with a straight face and say mail is cutting edge. Mail will give you a leg up and be more cutting edge than any of your competitors. What did the print article just say? You need to give new ideas. You need to be a source. And I've tried, I've begged, I've done, keynotes for the USPS, but they just don't get it. They think they know all about mail. I went on their site. They now will find you local printers. Who knows if those printers know anything? I don't know how they vet the process. Anyway, so you can come here. You can download the file. You can play it in a window. Gives you the duration. Here's the last 2 webinars converted to podcasts. The live streams. I'm going to keep putting those up there. And so we're building an incredibly valuable repository, and they're so much simpler than going on YouTube or watching live on LinkedIn. But you can do that too. You can chime in. I love to see people chiming in, and so it's great to hear from you. Hey, there's Keith. You said you weren't going to be able to watch today, so yeah, sound is working. Oh, maybe that's yesterday. I think it is. Okay, everything worked today. That's all I got for today. I hope you're energized. Things are turning around, and print is the most cutting-edge marketing channel in the world. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Have a great day. Bye-bye. They're going to say, who is this guy anyway? Why is he so excited about this? Yeah, that's a great question. Give me a call. I got 3 calls yesterday from printers. It was really great. I love talking with you guys. Bye-bye.